super stout. Look at that. Match the mood of the fish. Tank of a 19. This is a big fish. £4, 11 ounce. Minnesota River smallmouth. I did, and I think most of them were just 220s, 519s. Come to Minnesota.
Hey folks, I'm actually in a hotel room in Minnesota this time, and I had left and put my bibs on because I'm taking a break from the massive amount of travel, and I drove across the country the last couple days, and man, my legs hurt in a couple 16 plus hour days of driving. I think I'm ready to be back in a kayak. I left Warshak Reservoir in Idaho, and I drove along the bunch of rivers, real pretty rivers through the mountains there, between there and Boise, and even coming out of there. Let's see, it was the Clearwater. It's actually where Lewis and Clark figured out that they could hop back in the in a river and make dugout canoes and float down to the to the Pacific. So that was a happy moment there. The Clearwater is what they dammed up to make Dworshak. But went along the Salmon, real beautiful valley. A bunch of whitewater outfitters that use that. Good sized river, real pretty rock bluff walls, and just coming. I think that was mostly, I was going uphill at that point, and then got to the top of the mountain, and then coming down to Boise, it was the Payette. And Payette had some crazy looking whitewater. Again, more whitewater businesses and people playing in that. Real gorgeous valley, but it kind of transitioned from the mountains into just not quite as steep as you got down towards Boise, and visited a shop there, and then from there just made a long run into Montana. That was all one day. Stayed at some pretty nice hotel in Montana, and then actually before I got there, I went through, it was Craters of the Moon National Reserve, which was some crazy volcanic type. It's basically where volcanic activity and magma just started to come up through the prairie there at the base of a mountain. Really weird landscape with pumice everywhere and like spires and pits. Just crazy looking place. But yeah, the next day went along I think it was the Yellowstone River, and then all the way through not South Dakota, North Dakota on 94, and right now I found myself in Minnesota. So I'm gonna put the inflatable in some river. I know I'm in the I think it's the Upper Mississippi is nearby, so we're gonna go explore, go find some water, and spend the day not sitting and driving. We're gonna catch some fish. first fish of the day, like really not long after I put in. I always start with the most aggressive, dialed up aggressive, that's a 1/2 ounce jackhammer with a 7-inch scented jerk shad. It makes sense to start with it tuned all the way up, and if they're not biting, and I actually had one follow that didn't eat, that was bigger than that, and I thought, hey, do I need to tone it down a little bit? Toning it down is going to be going with the stealth blade. I still may do that because I had a much bigger fish than that not commit, even though that, I don't know, the fish was probably 17 inches. The one that was following was considerably bigger, so I may switch to it. The blade bait, or the bladed jig baits, tend to have a lot of thump. I don't know, this water's fairly clear, you don't need as much thump. Sometimes more flash is what makes sense. Again, big profile with this Pro Assassinator clacker spinnerbait. And then if you dial down even more and you just go with, super clear water, the Z-Man ZWG and the 7-inch scented jerk shad, all very similar profiles, but they do different things in terms of that progression of aggression. But you know what? Jackhammer just caught a fish. I think I'm gonna stick with the jackhammer for now. Ooh, stout. I tell you, this wind is crazy, and man, look at this. It's really pushing me downstream really fast, and I feel like I'm not giving each of these eddies that I come to justice in knowing what, am I having the right presentation for each one, but I'm moving fast, and golly, that thing is 19 inches and just super, super stout. Look at that. Beautiful fish. See you guys. So in that progression of aggression of those baits, the jackhammer, the stealth blade, the spinner bait, and just the scented jerk shad, I don't know if you noticed, they're all white baits. And it's not necessarily because this is, I'm mimicking, oh, it's a shadfish. I have no idea what the forage is in here. I don't know that it matters, because white always works. It's a rare fishery that they won't hit white, but what I like about it, and this is a little bit tannin colored water, it's still clear. What I enjoy about fishing a white bait is that I can track it. I can look down there and say, there's my bait. And when you do that, even when you don't catch them, you see the followers. And that first follower I had was big, giant fish. I'll hit it on the way back up, and hopefully I can catch them. So 2 that I've caught in the big one that followed, they're all been these foam trail shoreline eddies. The main, middle part of the river is moving pretty swift today with the rains. We got rain, but it really hasn't muddied things up a whole lot. I did check the gauges in the rain totals, and I know south of here we had, here's one, we had like 4 inches of rain
in a really short period of time. I'm gonna go with you because you're not like 19 or something. Got 3 fish so far, several follows and slashes that they didn't commit. I'm gonna make that adjustment and downshift from big profile with a lot of thump. I'm skipping over the stealth blade. When wood is part of the pattern, I always prefer spinnerbait to the bladed jig, the jackhammer, the Evo. Stealth blade actually does pretty good. I may throw this on in a minute. That blade, that plastic blade, does not have nearly the trouble with wood that the metal blade does. So it's kind of in between a spinnerbait. Spinnerbait will hit wood and just keep moving, which is nice. Okay. That's on the spinnerbait. And again, also a big white bait with that white bucktail, so I can track it. I can track the flash too, and you know, it tells me a lot. Keeping my eye trained on it. Oh, there we go. That one came out of that rock. Oh, and he's off. Oh. Had another one. That one got off. He was hooked. I had another one come up and do the same thing that that first big one did, and just kiss it. Didn't eat it. I think if that bait had been moving a little faster, maybe I'd have poked him better. Oh, that's a northern. Oh, I don't need you. It's probably good that you're on the spinnerbait. Things are so disruptive. They're like snakehead. Okay, like whatever you have in your lap, they're gonna tail slap it and send it into the water. Spinnerbait. Alright. Goodbye. So I know I'm cussing this wind a little bit, but the wind does you a favor in the clear water. Actually, we've been on some reservoirs recently where the wind creates the bite. That happened on Dvorak with Brandon Waz. Just really epic evening where they were schooled up and eating the kokanee. But in this case, on a river that's, I'm gonna say it's tannin colored, but it's still pretty clear. It conceals my being right here, you know. Yeah, it plays havoc with my cast, pushes this inflatable around, and I got the power to handle it. But what it does to the surface is it makes it look like that glass shower door with the kind of ripples where it obscures the view, and it conceals my approach. I'm moving up from the bottom of this shoreline eddy towards the top, and again, I love the coming up behind them, which I haven't really. I've been casting quartering downstream, which I guarantee you when I change direction and start heading back up to the launch, I'm going to be more successful. I was starting to think the stealth blade was not going to get the love, but I cast it on this area a lot before I got this guy to commit. So took more presentations to get the bite than the spinnerbait or the jackhammer. So I'm going to keep throwing it a little longer, see if it wasn't just this spot. So far the stealth blade may have been too much of a downshift in the progression of aggression. Make another adjustment. The stealth blade wasn't getting quite the amount of attention. They just like the more aggressive presentations, but this one's a little slower, but we're gonna make it a little bit bigger. Now we got a big profile and I can still use it as a spinnerbait trailer. First cast with that northern, smacked at it, didn't get it. I'm thinking jackhammer's better because you're not attracting the, I mean, you're catching smallmouth with the flashing blade, but you're for sure getting the attention of these toothy critters, and that's, I guess if you're gonna catch them, with that wire, that's the best best bait to have out there, and then that way you're not donating, you know, $17 jackhammers. That way I'm not sitting on top of them. There we go. That's a big profile. Chunker. Yeah, just one of those days where it's all working. So I got the throttle, Torpedo throttle right here, and I have it in real light reverse, and all I'm doing is trying to slow my drift as it's kind of pulling me. I don't say it's pulling me upstream, it's not. There's too much current here for that. But I'm steering and trying to use that reverse, light reverse, to stay the right distance away from this bank with this wind that just wants to throw me into it. So far it's working. I think the trees are blocking most of the wind on this side of the river, and it's still manageable with the reverse. Otherwise, I'm blowing past all this stuff floating downstream way too fast. All right, I'm going back to the jackhammer. It just got the most fish the quickest. You know, it's what you do. You rotate through a bunch of stuff and figure out, okay, which one's working the best. And I will note that I have not thrown anything slow or finessey. Haven't needed to. Would I be doing better if I did? I have no idea, but you know, I'm catching fish, so I'm pretty pleased with how things are going so far. Haven't got anything mid-river. Haven't fished much from the mid-river. I bet you there's one right behind this log, or this rock here on the bank. Rip it across the rock, keep it low, point the rod tip at it, and then hit it. Nope, nothing. Didn't even get one chase it out. Surprised. Try the middle of the eddy. Oh, that was a follower. Oh, saw him. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, goodness. I didn't hear all that happening. Yep, big old rock, eddy. So every pattern is a combination of location and presentation. I've been tweaking the presentation. The location has been shoreline eddies, especially the bigger ones caused by the log jam. And you know, this has been good for at least one fish, but in the same amount of time that I've fished it, nothing has outproduced, and maybe it's just where I was, the jackhammer. Maybe I was just in a good place there. But speaking of place, I think I want to place these baits tighter and tighter to the wood. So I can skip just the scented jerk shad with that belly weighted hook deeper into this stuff. And we're gonna do some obnoxious skip it and rip it. We're gonna skip it in there. Let me check my drag. Yeah, that's good. We're just gonna skip it in and then rip it out, and then I'm just gonna slowly move it. And this is similar. It's really not similar to what I was doing on Downshifting, but it's the same rig. But I'm able to get deeper into those eddies. And how it moves underwater is a little bit different than, I might just start skiing it, than what I was doing on Downshifting. But I still get the fun of following, like watching that white bait come out and, you know, seeing the dark shape come up, visualizing ahead of the catch. I haven't caught anything with it yet. It's just started throwing, but really good anglers are good at visualizing. Wow, look at that log jam. I had been fishing with one of my homemade jig heads, but I'm gonna switch to the ZWG. It accomplishes the same thing. It's got that little red hook keeper at the top that keeps the nose of the bait up. It's actually got this cool little keeper, little rubber keeper that keeps the bait. I'll show you here in a minute. Keeps the bait tucked up just in the right position. 15-pound fluoro. It's probably no match for the toothy critters that are here. There's that little rubber thing. We slide that up into here just so this doesn't squish down and have that hook exposed. So we're gonna play around with that. All right, I'm anchored up here, and I'm gonna show you. It kind of braids into a bunch of islands. I can go that way, I can go right through the middle, and I can go that way. But I think most of the water is headed in that direction. I'll come back up that way. My decision is, do I want to stay left or go there? Or maybe I go down and just loop it once. It looks interesting, but I did miss a couple on the upstream side of this. They came up and smacked it, and I think they were good fish. So, you know, when I come back up this afternoon, I'm just going to run up this side. So I had some misses there. I'm going to go back on the upstream side of this log jam and see if I get one to eat. These little mini islands at the top of the big islands are for sure huge bass magnets on the Susquehanna. There's a little cut through there. We'll see how they do here on this upper Mississippi trib. I'm here. He just knows he's mad. Oh, he's a good fish. He wants to go back to his eddy. Let me go back. I like to. Oh. So much power. I love the little mini island at the top of the big island. Here's why. Let's take a look. So, try to hold steady. So this is big dead tree island at the head of this other big one. And we're gonna zoom in there. Hopefully I can hold steady in this wind. I just want you to look at all the different current characteristics coming through there. There's current coming towards us. On one of those current seams. I cast it way back in there and brought it across that grass, and he jammed it somewhere in there. So I'm splitting between these islands, but I'm seeing so much good water here. I'm passing it. The reason is I want around, and then I'll come up behind. So much, really, oh, they're blowing up right there. Gorgeous. The other thing about being in and around the islands is that the wind is at least broken up a little bit. Oh. In you go. We took it right at the boat. I mean, like, I'd reeled in all the way, it was just hanging there. There we go. There we go. So many thick jumpers. All right, I think it's time. Let's see how that does. I would tell you, the mag draft is not something I have a whole lot of confidence in. I know I see everyone smashing big fish with them. I'll probably donate this one to a muskie, but I don't know. Like, I've caught some decent ones at Lake Fork. I hooked one with, there wasn't the freestyle with the beast hook that you see here on Lake Fork that was just, he jumped and like my knot came back whole. So it jumped the hook gap and the belly treble stayed in him. But I figure if there's a fishery that can give me confidence in throwing the mag draft, as aggressive as these fish are, as how many that are in here, this is probably a good fishery to get comfortable with it. All right, well, mag draft fish caught within 4 casts. Let's see how long this freestyle lasts. These fish blasting it. Look at that. Yep, end of the island's always a good target. There's a guide boat over there. They're fly fishing in all this wind. Can't imagine. It's ambitious. What we got? We got a big smallmouth. No. What are you? No, that's a critter with teeth. And a smallmouth. Checking them out. Do you mind telling me about your rig? This would be something that would be good on our Susquehanna. You got a stick steer jet?
Yeah.
A tiller jet.
Yep, 60-40 Merc jet. And this is a stealth craft. They call it a power drifter. So it's 16 long, 54 wide.
Yep.
It's made by Stealthcraft in Michigan. I've had it for 5 years here. You know, for the kind of fishing I do, it's ideal because, you know, I can zoom up, and I live about 8 miles upstream here, and so we can run down here. This time of year we like fishing here, and you know, now today I'm kind of rowing because Brady's here with me, but you know, we could be running the Tarova too, and,
yeah,
and just I can fish on my own. We can run that, and we can both fish, and you know, it's a good rig.
Very
like
cool.
It. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's how shallow will you go under power?
I mean, I can go through 6 inches of water full bore.
Yeah.
It's just a beast. It's a machine. There's one now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little tough with the wind today, but we're putting some to the boat.
Yeah. Doing good.
Bringing some to the boat.
Yes. My
Bass
boats
are big here, aren't they?
Yeah, my boat's smaller. I tend to reel myself over to them instead of reeling them in. That was cool running into some other anglers out here with a very cool rig. I think that setup would do well on the Susquehanna. Yeah, we're getting more on the mag draft. What we got here? GoPro start recording. Yeah, that one's brown. Alright, how much longer does that thing last? I mean, how many, those of you that fish the mag draft, how many fish do you get out of one? Little fuzzball seed pockets that are what seeds are distributed with these little fuzzballs. They look like little bunches of cotton, but wherever they're gathering, that's your super calm water. The beginning of another big area where there's just those little cotton foam seed packets or seed puffs are accumulating. I don't like getting pushed into it. I'll stay outside of that calm water current scene. I got a follow-up presentation with the scented jerk shad where I missed the mag draft hits. It's a fairly big eddy right at the end of this island, and it had depth. Calm water with depth. That was one of the ones that I probably missed. Come here, I get that ZWG out of your face. A little bit slower presentation. All right. Stay hooked. Please stay hooked. Nice. Pike. You know, he followed it all the way back. Slow speed. Just did it right in front of me like, oh, hey, is this your mag draft? Mind if I just, yeah, I'm just gonna ruin it. So I'm throwing straight braid there, but it's, ooh, look at that. Long past due for a retie. It seems like I've been catching more of the pike than the smallmouth in general. I thought, yeah, they're just in the grassy areas. I don't know, they're sort of everywhere. So pattern development is about paring down water so you're not just fishing everything, and thus far I have been fishing a little bit of everything, but this example of dead water with like these fuzzy little foam things that are seeds gathering, you can actually see some of them flying, but they're all accumulating on that surface there, and that really big calm eddy is, I'm sure, where they're getting ready to spawn, if not already spawning. That's, you know, these little fuzzy things flying where they stop and there's no current. That's it. If I'm only going to fish 5% of the water, that's the 5% of the water for this time of year on this particular river. That's where I'm getting bit the most. So rest of the day, I think I'm just going to focus on these types of big calm water eddies. Here's a nice big one. Let's go catch some from here. Take it back. That is a fish. He did come back to this spot. You can see with the shells. There's a log right there, some wood here, but that bare area with the shells is his bed. Let's get the dome out. We'll take a closer look. I can actually see that fish there. His bed is here. I'm gonna get out of this spot because he's come back several times to say, do you mind leaving me alone? I think I will leave him alone. Just because, you know, there's a fish spawning there. It doesn't mean there aren't others that are not on beds in the area. Yeah, you can go back. I ain't gonna screw with your spot. But yeah, I'll move up and work the current seam on the front edge of this. Is a good active area for fish hitting moving baits that have yet to spawn or not locked on, and that guy's locked on though. It's an active protection of his spot. So he didn't run off and stay away. But yeah, it was related to the log jam behind me. It's interesting, in different systems they spawn in different types of areas. I've seen them spawn in the Rappahannock behind grass beds. Susquehanna used it in ledge rocks. Whatever diverts current away from where they place the eggs. Jump through? You're just gonna flip around. Another on deck fish. 15, maybe 15. Pop. So they spawn in waves, and this is not a first wave spawner. Like, he's probably 15.5 inches, and he's kind of waiting in line for one of those spots up in that wood that is just perfect for building a nest. With the exception of that first one that was 19, I really haven't caught. Man, you ate the heck out of this, dude. I gotta go in deep. I really haven't been catching a pile of, you know, even 18s. They've mostly been 15 to 17 inch fish, which is so much fun. But those are your second wave spawners, the ones that go first, which is what's happening. That fish whose bed we just filmed with the dome, 20 plus for sure. First wave. And I'm not catching them. I could bed fish. I'm not gonna bed fish. Alright, this was a follow-up of the scented jerk shad after I had a couple hits on the jackhammer that were just missed. So, that 1-2 punch of fast, really fast and noisy, and then a little slower and more subtle. I think I'm gonna keep this up. There were 2 or 3 hits I missed right in here. So I think there's probably more than one fish in there. All right, it's warmed up finally. The wind has died, and I'm starting to shed some layers. It's about 4:15. I noticed yesterday when I was coming back, I can't remember whether it was Mountain or Central Time, but I think it was Central. 9 o'clock was still, I mean, it was late dusk, but there was still light. So I have 4.5 hours to get back up. I have no idea how far down I've gone. I would guess that I've done 3.5. So I can pick it apart heading up. Now, the guys in the jet drift boat worked this side all the way down. They just left. They just took off down that way. Super cool rig. Really nice guys to talk to. But they worked it with fly rods, and they're different. That's a different presentation, and they were catching them good. Different presentation than what I'm doing, so I don't feel like I'm fishing used water up here. It's pretty much fresh. So I will work this left bank all the way back up to the truck, and man, this is a fun day. No giants yet, but as we saw earlier, the giants or would-be giants, yeah, they were giant. What I saw was 20 plus. They're on beds. This is an example where the jackhammer is not going in because that scented jerk shad is just going to skip in underneath those branches a little bit better. Yeah, I'm not skipping the jackhammer under there. That one feels pretty good. Yep. That was a follow-up. All right, jerk shad. Okay, fishy. Yep. Another stout 16-incher. So I mentioned that the bite has slowed down, right? And I've been throwing the jackhammer for hours and just catching them on current seams, on wood, just all kinds of places. And the wind stopped, and I kept throwing the jackhammer. I just got that nice fat 16-incher on the scented jerk shad, and it was a follow-up cast for one that had moved on it but decided not to eat it. I don't think it was that fish. It was a bigger fish that moved it out, and I threw back in there with the scented jerk shad, and it kind of catching that 16-incher, and he meant to eat it. The other one that chased it out didn't mean to eat it, but this guy meant to eat it. GoPro, start recording, and I think what has changed, get out of the motor. They're just less, they got less aggressive because the wind died. And if you can match the mood of the fish, the scented jerk shad is for sure a more subtle, toned down presentation compared to the jackhammer. And I think the jackhammer not working, again, fat, probably what, 15.5. The jackhammer not working anymore. It's time to do the more subtle, adjust your presentation to the mood of the fish. So I think this is the deal right now. So the jackhammer goes in the second up. I have my Boondocks rod stager right there, where I keep, the other rod that's up front. That's where this rod had been. But if I have really screaming fast water, maybe I throw that jackhammer. But I'm gonna keep, it's a downshift. It is a downshift in presentation, and it's proving to be fruitful. The key though is to keep your, I got the Hobie Sightmasters polarized glasses on. I can see the white, and when you skip it in there next to the wood, you can train your eye on the white. That one came out and the white disappeared. Yeah, they're definitely wanting this more. Interesting. The wind died. The jackhammer bite died. But this bite is it's fun, and it's getting more bites. Yeah, they're just right there. Oh, you got off. How'd you get off? They're in that undercut bank. Nowhere near anywhere they would spawn, mind you. So I will tell you, there are no hard twitches, yanks, or jerks with this, with what I'm doing. There's only gliding, slowly falling, wandering. Not even a quiver. Although a quiver is, if you can get your rod and do and make it kind of shudder, it's a good thing. Oh gosh. Maybe this one's bigger. A little more current in that area. Yeah, this is a big fish. Big fish does not want to be in my net. Okay. I'll let you rest. That's bigger than the ones I've been getting. Yep. Alright, right in the corner. There's one maybe like 18. Here's some wood. I'm not going to measure them, but I am going to let them go with the dome shot. Pretty fish. Disappear. Just kind of hovering in space, wandering left and right. I like to enter hard. Skip, crash. I can't see. And then just lazy. Wind came back just like I asked it to. This is a big pike. I can see him. He ate this thing, and I wish he wouldn't have. You're just making everything smell bad. You're probably gonna break some of my stuff, and you're gonna probably try and cut me. Okay, not for you. Oh, okay, stop. Listen, if you just relax, we're gonna put you in front of the camera and say, look how pretty and big you are, and then you go in. Yes. Okay. Just gotta behave. Everything will be alright. Nice fish. It's not crazy big. In that current, it's crazy. What they can do. I don't know that there's a bait that I can put more places due to its skipping, overall weedless nature, its heft, its weight. I mean, you can, you know, I'm not doing it now, but I can hit that eddy way up there. I'm gonna hit this close one so I can keep my eye on the white. But it's, the rod I got it on is the Judge blank. Had this, I actually did this part myself, and I had Kevin Hallash finish it. It's a custom rod, and it's moderate fast, so it loads well, but it helps that it's got some weight to it, and it really launches well. Oh, that was a bite off. That was definitely a toothy critter. Just ate it. I see you there with your... Man. All right. Price of admission, I suppose. Hits in this eddy, and none of them took it until this guy did, and I think most of them were just didn't get away from the bed, kept it moving, and I think this was just, you know, the ones that I saw come up and smash it were way bigger than that, and they just did body blows. This, I don't know, 17-incher was like, all right, I'll eat that. Bigger fish aren't gonna do it, but for sure their bed's here. Just by evidence of how much this thing got smacked violently without being taken. I didn't want it. He just wanted it to leave. So that 17, he wanted it. So I'll eat that. But it's, you know, this log creating a big eddy. I bet you if I cruise over there, we'll see some white spots on the bottom. I'm happy to catch the 17. Watched you come up and eat it. That was pretty cool. Watch the white disappear. Yeah. You're a big boy too. Right up and said, nom 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 nom. Big, big, big. Okay. Look at this big monster. Beauty. Now, is this fish on the bed? I'll tell you, at no point today did I have any of these baits touch down on bottom. Look at that notch in this thing. It is a personal choice. In some states, there's some legality to bed fishing, but I know I could have caught more and bigger fish today. Taking something small, like it's another 19, but a heavy one. taking something small, finding the round spot on bottom that's been cleared, and just bouncing it up and down on it until they jam it. I just choose not to. All moving baits today. Slower moving bait, but the third 19-incher of the day. Nice healthy fish that somebody, look at that notch. Some bird when it was young probably went, "Honk." But you got away, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Beautiful fish. Alright. Slow presentation. Let's do a dome release. I'm gonna let you breathe first. You know, got to watch the eat. Really enjoy watching the white disappear. You know, watching it be there and then be gone and then just reel down, and there's your fish. All right, we're gonna go up into the spot where this thing ate, and we're gonna look around. We're also gonna release him just in case, hey, he was setting up to defend a bed. But yeah, if it was a tournament setting and I was like, I gotta catch those fish, you know, yeah, every place where I saw these things drift along and it goes bam, but doesn't disappear, that's them coming up and almost usually closed mouth hitting it. They're just trying to scare it off. But you know, if I went back in there and bounced something small on the bottom, say this little guy, bounce that on the nest, yeah, that would have eventually gotten more of these what I'm seeing are 20+ inch fish. It's okay. Got 3 19s today, which is a lot of fun, and just countless 15 to 17 inch fish. Such an amazing, healthy fishery. But that doesn't mean you need to leave that area. It means there's probably some other ones around. They're on deck. That was a swing and a miss. Yeah, there's some other ones that are around that are on deck that are probably willing to eat. Let's see if I'm right in this little foam pocket here. Just drifting it. I can't really see the white because there's so much foam here. I'm gonna have to feel the bite. Oh. Alright, okay, moving on from that one, because I've had 8 hits, none of which have connected. So, all bedding fish. Let's move on. Move up to the next eddy. That was right on cue. I don't think you go 16 though. Oh! Wow, I shouldn't have boat swung him. Got the bait back, did not get the hook back. All right, Jeff, use the net, dummy. You're heavy. Alright, getting late in the day. Gotta go get up the road, get ready for more dealer visits tomorrow. Is that my biggest? Man, it's 7:16. much later can I stay out? I still got an hour and a half drive. That's where I'm going. Yeah, that one's 20. 20 and a quarter. Close your mouth. Yeah, he's 20 and a quarter. We'll go ahead and get a good weight on this guy. And put it back. 411. 4 pound, 11 ounce. Minnesota. River smallmouth. Cool. These bigs are actually eating it. Good fish. Good. Another good one. Just hanging there. Alright. Actually gonna have a pretty significant total. Man, the later it gets, the more these big ones are eating. Let's see how this one goes. Yeah. Looks like 19 and a half. So, very cool. 19 and a half incher to add to 319s and 20, what did I say, 20 and a quarter? That's 411. Yeah. Oh, the upper Mississippi. It's healthy. This trib is part of why. I did look at Google Maps, and like the history of it was like what I looked at. This was all frozen, locked up in ice. So I gather they when they come out of winter, they're raring to go. I think being here 2 weeks ago, where more of these fish were, I'll just say a few of them were slashing at baits and more of them were just straight up eating them, I think would be a lot of fun. I'd like to be here in the fall. I'd really love to be here in the fall. I don't know how late into the fall, but man, imagine being here in October. Would be pretty special. Probably doing the same thing. Slow glide. Slow glide to this guy right here. I tell you, I've lost 5, and this is my second to last one, thanks to the pike. And well, can't blame that one on the fish. I was stupid and was boat swinging, just swinging a 16-incher in, and somehow lucked out and snagged the bait, but the hook went away. Another good one. Doing real good netting these guys. Oh, yeah, just jumped pretty good. I pulled him out into the middle of the river with the motor. I'm gonna shut this off. You tired yet? Get away from my motor, please. Oh, he was big. I played him too long and he popped off. Yeah, the bigs are firing up. That's cool. Slow reeling. Current's doing some of the work for you. It's doing a lot of the work for you. It's pendulum swinging, but you're keeping it moving towards you. And once it's out in the current, you reset. I'm running out of daylight and I'm sad about it. I don't want today to end. Like the thoughts go through my brain. What if I stayed one more day? Been on the road like over a month. I still got dealer visits to do on the way home. I would love to come back up here to Minnesota and explore more though. There's so much water. Jealous of how much water they got, but the rivers interest me the most. So I'll go home, regroup, and then Kayak Adventure Series, the next event is Michigan, so it's Whitehall, which I don't know exactly where it is. I know someone's gonna talk about a shape of a mitten and what part of the mitten it is. I don't know. I'm just gonna plug in coordinates on Google Maps and follow the blue line till I'm there and look around and say, all right, let's catch some fish. See if I can get you in the net before you pop loose. One I lost that ran a lot of drag kind of hurt my feelings. He was bigger than that 20. Come on. You're not. I mean, you're nice. For sure, some nice big river smallmouth. Looking forward to it. That take. GoPro start recording. Yeah, that's a big one. Let's see if I can bring it in before you do like that other one did and rotate out of that hook. Yeah, you're mad. All right, let's get you in this net. Ooh, sorry. You kind of bumped into my boat a little there, buddy. It's in you a couple ways. Yeah. I don't know. He's 18, I think. Yep. Thought he was 19, I'd put him on the board. I don't think he's 19. So keeping your line straight so you can feel the bite is such a challenge with this presentation. You have different currents doing different things and putting a bow in the line, which just kind of ruins the ability to feel the bite. So shorter cast, for sure being able to see the white, which I can't right now. Just this angle is not good. I watched the braided line. There's a fluorocarbon leader that's long, probably 10 feet. Lets it sink pretty good, which is good. You want it to be, I don't want to say neutrally buoyant, but yeah, close in casts, and not doing whatever it takes to not have a big bow in the line. And short cast is part of that. Get you up. Get you. Ooh. Wow. Tall fish. Super tall fish. Oof. Just tall fish. Like I'm really hitting my stride with the slower presentation with the scented jerk shad. Yeah, another 19, but a freaking tank of a 19. All right, see ya. About where I got that 19 this morning. You're in that range. Oh, gone. Oh, no way. Oh, I got a largie. Yeah, one more would be good. Okay. Right here is why one more cast is always an excellent idea. I can't end on a greenie. No. So many good fish. Yeah, just, that's a 20. Yep. Like 20 and an 8. Two 20s, 5 19s. Come to Minnesota. Look at Google Maps. Find the Mississippi. Find some tributaries. Catch some fish. Yeah, I'm ending on that. Let's get out of here. I got an hour and a half drive yet. In the dark, still gotta pack up. Phenomenal day. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching.